Hello, writing friends. I've got a question for you. Have you backed up your writing recently? I know it's like asking if you've flossed recently, but hear me out because it's kind of important. So, it's December. You've just finished NaNoWriMo, and God, congratulations, it's such a huge accomplishment. Or maybe you've been working on that breathtaking YA romance of the decade, or book 5 in your epic fantasy series that's going to be the next Game of Thrones. Or, I don't know, maybe you're in chapter 84 of your as yet unfinished crossover fanfiction, and your fans are desperately wanting to know whether Loki is finally going to settle down with the Terminator and have babies. Listen, you've been pouring your heart and soul into your novel or your short stories, your poetry collection, and honestly, it would be a tragedy if you lost it because of some kind of an accident. Now, listen, I know that sounds like a threat, and that's not what I intend, so stay with me here, because I've got something important to tell you. You don't want to lose your work to some kind of an accident, so you need a plan, and I've got something that approximates a plan. Now, backing up your data can get pretty technical and complex, but it doesn't have to be. I'll give you a fairly accessible way that you could run backups if you're not too terribly technical and you're looking for a simple solution. What I want you to think of is 3, 2, 1, right? The 3, 2, 1 principle. It's a good place to start as a backup strategy. It's not really a rule so much as a guideline. So what is the 3, 2, 1 principle? The idea is that you keep 3 copies of your data, 2 of which are on site and on different devices. The third of which, the number 1, is offsite or in the cloud, which tends to be most convenient. So that's 3, 2, 1. 3 copies of your data, 2 copies are local and on different devices, and 1 copy is off-site. So how does this look in the real world? Let's say you've got your manuscript sitting on your laptop, right? That's 1 copy. Having just the 1 copy leaves it pretty vulnerable to some kind of loss. Let's say you're a smart cookie and you have connected an external drive to your laptop, and it saves your data to that hard drive. This is a good move, and this is a great start. Ideally, you have this backup to the external hard drive automated. Your computer could probably do this with the tools it already has. I'll include a couple of links below for Mac OS's Time Machine, which I'm not too familiar with because I'm not really a Mac person, or Windows 10's built-in backup and restore solution. So you can see some more details in the links I'll provide below, but suffice it to say, you've got your laptop where you write your stuff. You've got an external hard drive where you are saving your data, preferably automated, but maybe you do it manually too. This is a good start. You got your 2 copies. Now, external hard drives, they are fairly reasonable in price these days. They're not too costly. But if they're out of reach for you for whatever reason, then a thumb drive works just fine. The thing about a thumb drive is that they're easy to lose, and it's a little more difficult to set up an automated backup solution for it. That's something that you could probably Google if you wanted to, but for most people, if you have a thumb drive and that's your second copy, that's the one you're going to have to manually save the files over there whenever you feel like you need to, preferably at the end of every writing session. Or if you're paranoid like me, several times in the middle of your writing session, right? Because it only takes once to get burned like that before you don't make that mistake again. Good. 2 copies, right? Both of them are local to your site. Having that local backup is going to be great for when you mistakenly delete something that you didn't mean to, or there's a power outage and something strange happens, or your overzealous cat editor knocks a coffee cup directly into your computer. All of those things would kind of suck, but you'd be able to recover pretty quickly because you've got that on-site backup. Good. So you got 2 copies of your data, 1 on your laptop, 1 on your external media. That's a good start. However, let's say there's some kind of disaster at your house and both copies are lost due to theft, due to a fire. Now, not everybody can just run directly into a burning building like this guy here and rescue their laptop and hard drive. Nor should we have to, right? If your house is burning down, that's really the last thing you ought to be thinking about. You got to be thinking about your safety and the safety of your loved ones, right? You want to be able to rest assured that your data, the thing that you've been working on, is safe and you don't have to think about it, right? So how are you going to get that third copy, the one that's offsite? Numerous cloud services exist to automatically take that third copy and store it on their equipment, right? I'll recommend the 2 services that I use, Dropbox, which we've all heard of, and Backblaze, which a lot of people have heard of. You've probably heard ads for it on podcasts and stuff. I'll talk about Backblaze first. Now, they're not sponsoring this video, though I'm open to the idea, so get at me, Backblaze. But the TLDR is this. You pay a subscription fee, and their software automatically backs up your all the folders you specify to their private cloud. What's the cost on this? For me, I pay about $60 a year. Honestly, $60 a year or $5 a month if you break it out, that's more than reasonable to get peace of mind that my data is safe in the cloud somewhere. Backblaze will retain 30 days of your data. That doesn't mean that they hold on to your data for only 30 days. They hold on to it for as long as you pay for the service. But what I mean by that is that they hold 30 days of past revisions of your data. So let's say something happens today and you need to revert back to yesterday's backup, you can grab that. Or if you need to revert to, let's say you had a fever dream for 4 days and you've been writing nonsense, and you need to pull back the backup from 5 days ago, you can go and grab that, right? Up to 30 days. If you need the 31-day backup, way back there, then you're kind of out of luck. But for most people, 30 days retention is more than enough. If you need to grab one of those old files, you can do it through their web interface. It's just as simple as downloading a file, and now you're back in business. They also offer a service where they'll take all of the data that they have that you have uploaded to them automatically and write it to a hard drive and ship it to you. That costs something. I don't know. I hope to never know what that costs. But that's a thing that they can do. But the typical solution where they need to, or you need to download individual files from their web interface doesn't cost anything. Between the 30-day retention, the pretty snazzy UI that they have for their website, you can pull back almost anything. And here we'll demonstrate a little bit. All right, here's a brief demo of the Backblaze web interface. After you've logged in, it'll take you to this overview screen. Let's say you want to pull back yesterday's files. We'll come over here to View Restore Files. And you'll see the options here where you can have these files restored to. Downloading the files are free. Any of these other options where they send it to you in a flash drive or USB hard drive or a separate Amazon instance, that will cost a little bit extra. But for our purposes, we're just going to demonstrate downloading a file for free. So after a moment, all of the files that you have uploaded via Backblaze will appear here. And here we'll see a folder that I've called My Novel. And inside the folder called My Novel, there it is too, Lorem Ipsum 2, Electric Dolor Sit. I've had some kind of a disaster, let's say, and I need to go and grab this. It's just as easy as clicking and downloading. And now I'm back in business. So there, see? Backblaze, easy peasy. And a reasonable cost too. But if Backblaze is out of reach for you for whatever reason, the free version of Dropbox can also serve as the offsite backup location. Now, some of my fellow IT nerds will quibble about whether Dropbox counts as a backup or not. But for most writers, it'll serve that function just fine. And it's honestly better than nothing. That's the 3-2-1 guideline in several nutshells. 3 copies of your data, 2 copies on-site on different devices, and 1 copy off-site in the cloud. There you have it, an accessible, user-friendly way to think about and execute your backup strategy. 3, 2, 1. Real easy, right? Now you can happily get back to the keyboard and write like the muse has blessed you, secure in the knowledge that your data is safe from most disasters. Now, there are more advanced backup and restore principles that you can think about and dig into, like periodically testing your backups to make sure that they work, or building and installing your own NAS in your house. But honestly, if what I said made any kind of sense to you, then you already know about the 3-2-1 principle, and this isn't the right video for you. Go forth and find your own home-based backup solution. For most folks who are going to be watching this video, I would urge you to consider applying a solution like this, or any other solution that incorporates the 3-2-1 principle as its starting place. So have you ever lost your work to some small accident, or maybe an extinction level event like an asteroid hitting your house? If you have some further questions about how you can best backup and restore your data, let's talk about it in the comments below. If you like this video, give it the old thumbs up, and while you're there, hit the subscribe button as well. Doing those things lets the all-seeing and all-knowing algorithm know that you would like to see more videos from me, your writing friend, Sean Locke. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.